Call the Village of Bondwell Village Board meeting to order on Tuesday, February 13th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Pledge of allegiance and sign of affirmation. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Statement regarding the meeting notice. The agenda for the meeting was sent to the Shawnee Leader. Results broadcasting. Copies of the agenda are also posted at the Village Hall of Bondwell State Bank and Bondwell Library. Can I have approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda and deviate as necessary.
I'll second it.
Motion by Hottenstein, second by Zuliger, to approve the agenda and deviate as necessary. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Can I have approval of the January 10th, 2024 minutes?
Make the motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Motion by Kelly, second by Hottenstein, to approve the January 10th, 2024 minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Acknowledgement of citizenship and open forum. We have Mary Rickard, Rosemary Rickard,
Yep.
Nicole, Keith Fisher and his wife, Mitch Walrich,
Nicole.
Nicole,
Bill Boccic.
Bill Boccic and his wife, correct? Missy Goose. Pretty much so. Oh, sorry. Delta. Probably pretty much so here for the rolling medials lot. Okay. We'll go through these other two things quick. Communications, petitions, correspondence.
I just have in the correspondence, the Wisconsin Economic Development, helping rural residents building their future. Jesse will probably touch on this in his report, but we did receive one of 10 communities that received a planning assistance and access grant, and we will be having an initial kickoff meeting for that tomorrow. So Jesse will probably touch on that a little bit.
The committee department reports, committee as a whole is on file. We have some items coming to the board. Police department report is on file. There was no fire department report.
No fire.
EMS report is on file. Clerk and treasurer's report, Michelle Marachik.
The report's on file. CLA was here, started the audit. There are a few things I'm still working, getting them. They've sent us a few more things they're looking for, but we're finishing up on that. Tax collection is done. You'll notice in the accounts payable are the different payments due by the different entities this time. So that's getting finished up and working on several projects right now. Good.
Municipal operations department report, Jesse Rankin.
Reports on file. I would just like to add that we completed maintenance on the force main. We have to replace the valves on that. We got one remaining of the 10 air release valves in the village. Last year when we had that failure, that's what it was. And through maintenance inspections, we determined that we have to replace all it's a nipple that goes to the valve with stainless steel. It's not report, so that's on with a stainless steel nipple rather than what's currently on there. That was a point of failure. We got all but one done. It's quite the undertaking. We have to go in, shut our force main off, do a bunch of maintenance things, replace it, and then turn it back on. So good news is we haven't had any issues. We're on our last one and everything's on schedule.
Board reports, zoning board of appeals, none.
They're not yet.
Library board.
No report, Kevin.
Plan commission is on file. These some items coming to the board. Fire commission is on file. Miscellaneous reports.
None.
Good. We will move to new business, K1. Discussion and possible action to approve the amendment and restatement of covenants and restrictions for Rolling Meadows plat.
What this is that there's currently a deed restrictions and covenants for Rolling Meadows. We are talking about item 2 where it states E.G. Hints and Sons as all residential dwellings are to be constructed by them. They are no longer in business, so we need to remove that from the deed restrictions and covenants. In order to remove that, we need all resident signatures that own lots up there. Then it will be filed with the deed, with the register of deeds, once we get all the signatures, and then we can move forward from there. So I guess.
Do you have any other questions for him?
So will the owners get a copy of that amendment then, or?
Yep.
Or-
Everybody will get a copy of the amendment. It'll be filed with the register of deeds. Now, this is only to remove E.G. Hints from the only builder that's allowed up there. This doesn't state anything else, but we need everybody's signature up there. Because they should have put in the road, they should have built the buildings, they should have done a lot of things, it didn't happen. They're no longer in business, so now we gotta remove that from the deed restrictions and covenants in order to move forward.
We'll get a certified copy of it.
You'll get a certified copy of everything, and it'll be registered at the register of deeds.
Any other?
What stemmed the purchase of the land in the first place, I guess, is the question.
Development. The short answer is development. The village needs housing. That should have been built before. It's been residential, zoned residential, platted residential. We wanted to do some other parcels in the village, but these became available for us to purchase. So we're purchasing them to spur development for housing, because we did a housing study with Shawano County Economic Group. Long story short is that we need housing in the village, single-family housing, single-family working wage housing in the village. Because there hasn't been a house built in the village for over 20 years. Let me back that up. There was one built in Whitney Woods that's almost done, but that's the first one in over 20 years.
Right. Do we think it might be due to other reasons and not just land? Because there was a lot of plots right across Ranky Field for a long time that I don't believe ever went for sale.
Mhm.
Well, they were for sale but never sold.
There was tax assessments associated with that property. So the owner of that property has a developer's agreement with the village to put in houses. But the minute he started doing any development, tax assessments become due. Now, whatever motivates him to sell or doesn't motivate him to sell, he's not interested in selling us at this point in time. So we pursued that. These lots, he was willing to sell, owned by the same individual. And this is a precursor that if we do a good job here, we can talk about the other ones. There's 42 lots over there in that farm field behind the baseball field. So there's 42 lots over there, and hopefully if we do a good job here, we can move over and start developing that.
But why go into the areas where people are affected first, I guess?
Well, no matter where you build, you're gonna affect, somebody's gonna be affected.
I get it, but you're at an area over there that really is in the middle of nowhere, right?
Because that's it comes down to what he was willing to sell. We're landlocked pretty much by a couple of people that surround the village. I would love to build, somewhere else, but this is what was offered to us and this is what we're going with. As of right now, this is what the board's going with, not me. The board.
No,
Yeah.
I get it.
And we all want growth. I mean, our schools need growth, our village needs growth.
Absolutely.
I mean,
but
so
we
that's what
focus
we were
on-
looking at,
Right,
we
right.
want to see growth for our little town also.
I would agree 100%, but I think that before we start growing, we need to focus on the people that are here also.
Oh, agreed. I mean, I've been living in the village for
Right.
almost 18 years.
One thing that I'll bring up just out as point is the exorbitant water bill that we have to pay, right? That's a major reason why people probably don't want to move to this town. It was shell shock for myself when I moved to this town, I'll be honest with you. I never in a million years thought I would pay $175 a month for a water bill, where I come from, it was $100 every 3 months. Now, I understand why everything happened the way it did, where we sent it over to Shawano,
Mhm.
but there is no savings passed on to us from Shawano. They have upgraded their system at least one time that I know of, and never are the savings passed on to us, all passed on to their local residents. So I kind of feel that we need to explore other possible resources for that, to maybe make it more affordable to live in the town. And I think that once you do that, your housing market will take care of itself too. You know, I'm just,
I mean,
and the taxes.
In
too, but
the water thing, that happened way before my time.
I'm
here.
blaming nobody on this board.
Right.
I just
You
want
know,
to get that, I want to
That
get that.
happened years and
Right,
years
right,
and
right,
years
right.
before.
I'm
before
blaming nobody
even.
on this current board,
You
but I'm
know.
asking for help in trying to get
Yeah.
something together to fix the problem that is there, right?
The years and I don't know how to fix that, but I'm in the same boat. I have a family of 4. Our water bill is very high.
You
You know.
understand, you know?
Exactly. But I want change living here.
Well, we all do, right? And it's affecting us all.
Right. But I want change living here because of the water. I guess I like my small community. I like Bondwell. I love the school. You know, like I look at different aspects of living in this town.
Well, and you
Well,
said
I
a
came
small
from-
community, but we're growing it, right?
Correct. Well, we're
So-
still going to be that small. We're not going to be Shawano.
Right.
We're not going to be Pulaski or Hobart. We'll never be that. You know, man, if we had that kind of land to start building houses like that, I mean, we would be raking in the money
Yeah.
too. We can afford to do that.
We have good water though too.
There's
I've already
no doubt
been-
about that.
I've
But
been to other places where they pay a pretty penny too, like in Bellevue, out by Green Bay, they pay a pretty penny and water stinks.
My understanding though is we're not paying for the water,
It's the sewage.
it's the sewage that goes along with it. And I'm gonna drink it, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful, I love
It's good
the
water.
taste.
Yeah.
But,
But as for what needs to be done, I don't know how to fix that.
I have some ideas.
And I wouldn't say that people don't want to move here because I'm telling you, the houses sell before there's a sold sign or a for sale sign on the house.
Absolutely, but that also has a lot to do with the market that we're currently in too. And not as much as that, but it's hard to find a good price home in this market, just downright end of it, right? So when you jump on these things, I mean, I see people even out of this town, they're offered $5,000 above asking price before it even goes on the market. So it's stuff like that that I honestly think that we need to probably start thinking, not or even exploring, possibly looking at a treatment plan of our own, right? And this way it'll be obviously it's gonna be a cost to the city, right? But there's a cost with an end to the means, right? Not every time we're gonna upgrade our system over in Shawano, we're gonna just pass the savings onto our own residents and not the people that are also poor.
I may be wrong on this, you might be able to help me answer this. When this happened, that treatment plant is good for 20 years.
Correct.
Didn't get pretty good.
Yep.
And at that time, if I remember right, it was 7.5 million to do a treatment plant.
Right.
7.5 million to run the water to Shawano. With that line that's running there, it's supposed to be guaranteed for
30 years.
30, 40 years. That's why they went that way.
It's a cost savings.
It's a
So
cost. Go ahead.
to put a new treatment plant in is 15 to 20 years.
Yep.
Uh,
And that only depends, the upgrade of such depends on the DNR regulations that come. So it could be
Right.
20, could be 50, could be 5,
You're right.
right?
And I'll tell you right now, other communities are right now suffering through that. Random Lake is putting in a treatment plant. Their sewer charges are going up 237% per resident. Seymour too. So it seems like a lot of money, and I'm not blaming the board and everybody, whether it's my position, the clerk, everybody made decisions prior to everybody being here with the best information they had.
Yeah.
And they made the good decisions at the time. But there was a lot of things that have hindered us. So the second, third order of effect of no new housing, meaning no new people moving in, nobody paying for new service, is that your water's gonna go up, your sewer's gonna go up, your taxes are gonna go up, because you got the same amount of people doing the same lifting. And the cost of everything continues to skyrocket, so we're not taking away services, because everybody wants the roads plowed, everybody wants streets done. But in order for us to maintain our services, all them prices have to go up, because we got the same people, the same houses, paying the same bill. And we can't get one.
We have no net new income.
So net new construction for a town should be about 3 to 4% every year.
We're under one.
We're less than one for the better part of the last 15 years.
I still feel
And that's what
great.
levy limits are based on.
That's the thing, right? So the other thing was, it was my understanding that the board made the decision because they thought the pickle factory was gonna pay a lot of that fee because they had a water, they were using the major usage of the water at the time. And then they didn't want to pay that and then left out.
All right, KI,
That's part of it. it was
It might have
the
been.
pickle factory back in the day was supposed to be picking up lion's share of that up.
Right.
And and with all intents and purposes, that was the reason he did it. As well as cost savings at that time, which you take into account the time that's passed for us to do that was economical.
Yeah, I didn't
So-
know there was an end, like, I thought when, I heard the same thing, that when Glassick had it, that it was, like, you're paying for the connecting service, which is why it costs so much, but that I didn't know, like, after 20 years, is that portion paid for? Or is, you know what I mean, like, should there be a reduction at some point when that connecting, I'm sure it was probably a 10, 30-year, whatever, contract on that expense, because I'm sure it was a huge amount of money, and they probably divided it out among some number of years, that I would assume at some
And then
point,
they pulled up their poles and
yeah, so
I'm
at
sure
some
there's
point, if it
any-
was a 30-year thing, there should be,
We still have a note on it, there was an obligation note on it.
yeah, that's what I figured, it probably was a very long note, I'm guessing.
Right, I wanna say it
It goes
was
till 42, I think.
like $11 million to put that in, for something that's gonna last 40 years, as opposed to putting a new treatment plant would have been about $8 million. So we would have been looking at putting in another treatment plant already, at the cost of $8 to $10 million. So,
Or at least upgrading the ones that you have.
right, I mean, it would,
Upgrade, building new is a bad word when you say you can upgrade
okay,
it.
changing the system of some sort.
Well, the reason I say that is because I worked in the treatment plant, over at the Shawano Mill, right?
Mhm.
Worked there for a lot of years, I understand how everything goes, because I've been involved with a lot of it over there, right? And yes, we did do a lot of upgrading, but not as much as really you think. It was mainly just controls, stuff like that, and slightly with DNR regulations, which then purchased the different chemicals that would treat that such thing, right? So it's not as big of an expense usually as what you might think, right? Because usually there's another chemical out there that you can use, hate to say it, but that you can use that treats the water. A lot of your water is already treated with chemicals, so.
Are you talking water treatment or are you talking waste treatment? I mean, that's two different things. So I'll just give you the skinny, like the water and the sewer are separate. So we gotta pump all our sewage to Shawano. That's one portion that the sewage plant has to pay for. Now, we also put in infrastructure on the south side of Highway 29. I don't know if any of you noticed, there's fire hydrants in the farmer's field out there.
Yep.
So all that was put in too, and that wasn't cheap. So now we had a loan out for that water and for that sewer. So everything is for paying back debt right now. It's not like, we're putting in a new water line on 117 when they do the road, discounted prices to us, still gonna cost us a lot of money, but we gotta take out a loan for that because our water is still trying to keep up with the infrastructure that was put in across the road. So, and we have no new development. So that was put in with the thought of spurring new development. And we have some development up by the highway now, but that's minimal compared to what was, that's been there ready to use for 25 plus years. And we got no tax revenue out of it, zero. So that's why we have to have some development, so that way we can get some tax money in to pay off the debt, lower the taxes, so it's a second, third order effect that we have going on. And it starts with business development and housing as our two sources of income.
So who would develop these lots? So we all agree that this covenant comes off, so like now the village owns the lots.
Mhm.
So would the village be selling them to a contractor to put a hose on and develop it, or how is that?
There's a lot of ins and outs. I know that I've talked to several different developers, and I'm not saying we're going with one or not going with one. That's not my decision, and that's part of the board has to decide. But the thought process is that we're gonna pick a developer that's gonna build houses up there.
So it goes back on.
My vision is they put in 2, 3, maybe 4 homes, 2 or 3 homes, they sell, they start the next 2 or 3, start the next one. And hopefully they all sell quick. So that way we can get that developed and then look at other spots such as, it's called Northern Lights by the baseball field, with 42 homes, get that built up. And then continue to build on. So it's just not single family homes that we're building. We're only building single family homes up in Sunrise Court. That's the only thing going up there, because I heard some rumors.
Because that was a question I had, yeah, if it was gonna be, I saw the covenant, I didn't know if that was the same, that was single family or basically duplexes of a minimum size.
Right. There's a minimum housing size according to the code. It's 800, or this is 1,400 square feet for up there. That's the bare minimum. So up there it would have to be single family homes, and we have to keep them at a certain price point in order to get money from what's called our TID to put in the infrastructure for affordable housing. So affordable housing is different for everybody. So we got to look at maintaining the houses that are out there, because we don't want to throw in some $800,000 house or some $120,000 house. We want to match the sort of what's going on up there. Working wage family houses where people have kids to increase the workforce. Because I mean, I've talked to KI that says they would love to expand, but they have no workforce. There's nobody here. Burger King's forever hiring in Shawano.
But that's not due to the city, that's actually all, I'm in hiring over at the
Right.
Green Bay Packaging Mill now, we can't find anybody to save our lives.
Right, but it would help.
I mean, you're talking in Green Bay, you have a wide pool and we still, people don't wanna work, that's basically unfortunate.
But I mean, you're looking at like, I'm not gonna argue about that, but like summer help, kids in high school that are working at Burger King for KI and stuff like that. I mean, we need that family with the 3 kids to come here and say, okay, go get yourself a summer job, that type of thing, to help increase that. I think the professionals will come with them at housing because, location. You can jump on 29, be in Green Bay, 25 minutes. Appleton's, 30 minutes away. Already talked to TDS, they're gonna put fiber internet up there, so that way you can telecommute if you need to. We're trying to get something going, we got a good location, trying to get a dabble, our toe in the water to get some housing here. Because the school, there's a waiting list for every grade to get into school. Everybody wants to go to the school. The superintendent follows you home. If you register and weren't in the school previously, follows you home to make sure you're in the district. So we keep the standard of having a good school. I mean, look at Shawano School.
And there's an exodus going on from Green Bay. And for years, it's been Pulaski and Hobart and the surrounding areas, skipping over us to Shawnee.
But I know a lot of people that have built, like been that people, and they would rather built in Heartland and surrounding us due to not just the water, but the high taxes too. I know a guy lives on the channel in Shawano. He pays less in taxes than I do, and I'm not even on any water.
Well, again, it's a case-by-case basis. I mean, but there's some of those that still
They have a
value
higher
the school
base.
system over anything. They'd rather have their kids in a safe environment. And that's what this is. So,
But
They
your
have a
tax
higher
base-
tax base though, too,
Right,
in
but
Shawano.
your
We
school
don't,
tax.
because we don't have the building.
Or
We
school
don't have
part
the
of it.
tax base, because we don't have the property to bring that tax base up, to share it all over, where Shawano does. So that's why they're paying less taxes. You need that tax base to come up, to spread it across more. And you don't get that without net new construction, to bring your tax levy numbers up.
I only know that because I have a business in Toronto and I know what my business taxes are.
Right, but I'm just saying that
You
you
don't
guys
have the
need the
business
net new
taxes.
construction numbers to go up, so that your levy goes up, and the only way that goes up is if your number of the value of your whole town goes up. And that's, the only way to do that is to have new business and new housing.
So that
And that's
spreads
how
your
that
taxes
plays
out.
into the
That
budget.
spreads your money out.
That's your money out. It doesn't.
Spreads everything out. So everyone is, your
So if you
taxes
look at
are
like town of
lowering.
Washington, their tax base for what all their property is extremely high. What they get from the state for tax, or for money, like shared revenue, is enormous. Because they have all these houses that are worth $bucks because they got the lake. We don't have that. We have the same houses, the same pool of money for years. If we could start getting more, our base will go up, and then there's more to spread it across. So then your taxes will start coming down.
But you're
with the
talking
tax.
a lot more, right? In order
Correct.
for our taxes to even begin to come down, right?
Correct.
I'm just using 3,800 I'm just gonna say 3,800 is what my taxes are. Like, I don't even remember what it is, but saying that, right? So on that, let's say we add 20 here, right? What's that? That's a drop in the bucket compared to what we're actually looking to do, because there's gonna be another
Right,
program.
but if
that
we
you
could
guys
get something
wanna
that
use.
goes like Hobart, and all of a sudden we could develop that over there and get the house.
In the 42 lot cell,
But Hobart also has been developing a lot more industry over there too.
Correct.
And I think that's what we need to focus on more so before we get the houses.
Well, we can't have, there's no one to live here though. I mean, and we have our TID meetings, and all these people are like, all these, when NWTC comes here, the school, the county, other jurisdictions, like, why aren't you building like Pulaski and Hobart? Why don't you have the housing? The TID people, I mean, they know what TIDs are, the tax incremental district. So we meet with all the jurisdictions to get a portion of your taxes, and they say, how come you're not building? How come you don't have the housing? And we're like, yeah, we don't know, we're trying, we're really trying. And they're like, well, you guys should build it.
So you can use those same grants to help the housing development?
Yes,
Because I went to the channel,
Yes.
my business in channel, I know they have
Yes.
the bid and the tip, and they
Yes.
had some blighted district.
Correct.
grants.
and then we're working on getting the downtown. Now, we just got this grant where they're gonna partner with us and help us get the downtown revitalized and try to get us that housing too. So we're trying to work with all these angles to get
You can
some
get a lot
money
of
to
free
get this
government
town
money.
developed,
Right.
get it looking a little better than it looks, get some of these businesses going and trying to revitalize things. And then we've got no, let's not grow it. And we've had that for 25, 30 years. And I
it's hard 'cause
understand.
People are scared of grant
I know.
applications, and they don't realize, like, I filled
We want
out
the parks to look nice. We want what Shawano has. We want those parks to look nice. So we're trying to get the parks going. We're trying to get all these things going.
But what Shawano got going on, they got the Zadarsky apartment buildings. They
Yeah.
got a subdivision going in between the high school and the river. They got, houses going
They
in
get their
across from
tax base
Hillcrest
up.
Elementary. They got tons of housing going up, and we're 5 years behind them. So what it is, our TID was distressed, meaning we had to extend it to pay back our debt. Normally what happens is that you would have development out at the highway. We would get that tax revenue because it was in a TID. We don't have to share it with anybody. But
Ours
since
was a negative too,
ours was a negative TID.
because of basically 30 years ago, they thought that when they put all this infrastructure in on the other side of the highway, they thought that, well, the TID will pay for it. And the TID will grow. Guess what? They had closed-minded thoughts. They didn't go and try to get more business. And so what happened is the TID never developed. So for the last 30 years, we've been paying back that infrastructure. We've had to extend the TID to make sure that the government or the village could pay back that money. We finally have paid it back after this year, and the TID closes this year. So that TID has made us money, but it was enough to pay back all that infrastructure.
So we couldn't give out any.
So we couldn't give out any
downtown district
incentives
or-
like all these other towns do, where they give all these big companies money and say, hey, build, we want you here. We couldn't do that.
So like for reference in Shawano, Stubborn Brothers got a lot.
A lot of money
bid and money.
To come there and do this and build a beautiful.
But that was a 20-year project.
Correct, we
So like
couldn't
for
do that.
backstory is I think it was Dean Kranz that started
Mhm.
that. So like Stubborn Brothers, basically they were locked in at what they were paying. If I understand it right, is whatever they paid for taxes was on a lower value.
Correct.
If they're assessed higher, that difference that they're paying at a higher tax rate goes back to pay back the bid program of all the grants and loans that Stubborn Brothers got to revitalize and put that business
That's back in.
up.
Right.
You know, so they obviously got hundreds of thousands of grant money, but it's a nice building on Main Street, which is
Right.
helped to
And it's
spur
drawing business.
everything else on Main
Correct.
Street to grow. So it was a good investment, and it does pay back the money to the city of Shawano. So the programs do work, because it's.
Right,
Right.
and we would love to have done that, and you know,
But it's a 20-year project.
right,
for sure.
30 years ago, they thought it was gonna grow,
Yeah.
but it didn't. And nobody did anything to grow it. And not that it was a wrong thing, because 30 years ago, they thought it was the right deal to do.
Well, a lot of people just don't know that they're intimidated by grant applications and money. So it's really not that bad. It's like a 4 or 5 page sheet, you write a couple things down, it's not hard to apply, but people hear a grant application and they freak out and don't fill it out, and it's not that hard.
Right, and that goes back to, Michelle touched on it earlier, we won a Wisconsin Economic Development Grant for technical assistance for downtown revitalization and single-family housing. So that we're one of 10 municipalities in the state of Wisconsin that is getting this technical assistance and grant write. So we're gonna get 2 years of grant writing assistance, $25,000, and technical assistance to do a downtown revitalization, to get some of that stuff going like Shawano has. Because right now, I mean, we're just trying to get the TID paid off, we're trying to get that paid off, trying to get some housing on. I mean, we're trying to crest the hill here, but right now, we've been pushing uphill for 25 years.
So in our little neighborhood, which I think a lot of us are.
Mhm.
So if you're looking at single-family homes in that area, you were looking to keep it in a kind of a consistent price point of the properties that are up there.
Right.
So if you're to put up 3 homes and say, like I live next to Chris Leonard, and whatever our homes would sell for, you're looking at having them put up a spec home of similar value.
Mhm.
So that would hold the real estate value of the neighborhood.
Yep.
Is what you're thinking.
Yep,
So you're not gonna put a, $250,000 ranch next to the
no,
house that's gonna sell for
Well,
600,000. I mean, within reason, obviously.
right, the assessed value, so we looked at a couple things. and we're still kicking things around. Assessed value, we took a poll of the assessed value of everybody's house up there. Now, I know assessed value is not true market value, but the assessed value of all the houses up there on that is around $250,000 mark for assessed value. So we want to keep
Assessed,
Assessed.
not appraised.
Yeah.
not appraised, and your
Assessed.
house probably may or may not be more.
Double.
Right, but you gotta take into account, if you have one of the more expensive houses, there's other houses that aren't as much, so forth and so on, but average it out, I wanna say it was right around a little over $200,000. But we wanna build houses that match up there, okay? Again, it's not me, we do not wanna put a starter home next to the house up there. I don't want somebody to come in to buy a lot and put an apartment complex up there or
Right.
combine lots or things like that. The intent that the board wants is to have single family housing up there, working wage housing, so people with young families, that work wherever to come in and contribute to the village right away.
Now, is there grant money for, my father-in-law owns a lot, and he's talked about putting an apartment building, not up there, different neighborhood.
Yep.
Is there TIF money available to start those projects on that sort of thing as well?
We got no TIF money. We're in the red on
No,
that.
we're working on a new tip.
We're working on a new TIF, so that's,
When you have that government planning thing.
Yeah.
Right.
If that's on that.
so that,
project,
the number one is single family, multifamily housing. So that's the first thing we're gonna look at. Second thing is downtown revitalization. Maybe we can get a revolving fund loan, sort of like what Shawano has, so that way we can help businesses to revitalize their business downtown to, everybody knows a couple buildings in downtown that would like to see something go on or renovated or demolished, one of the two. So we're looking at all that holistically throughout the village. So, but the first one was single family and multifamily housing. The second one is downtown revitalization. And the third one that we're gonna look at is community buildings. So right now we have this building, we got the fire department, the police department, the municipal ops building, and all of them, what's the year in this building, like 40s, 50s? I mean, we painted it, we've done some things with it, but we got a leaking roof. It's not we do the best we can with what we got. It would be better if we were all consolidated. The fire department was built in the 70s. It doesn't house the fire trucks hardly even.
No.
So everything is, at its shelf life at the end of it. And we looked at putting, we can get grants for a community development building such as a fire department, police department, but that still comes with like a $12 million price tag. We don't have $12 million, even half of that, to build a new fire department, police department, or in Village Hall. So we're looking at, yeah, and we're looking at, what I was going is that was the third thing that we're looking at with this WEDEC Wisconsin Economic Development Grant and technical assistance to help us with. So that way we can, hopefully get something going.
Next question is a two-parter for me. Would you be willing to sell the lots? Can I buy one?
I don't think the village has them for sale right now. I don't think that's the intent. I don't want to speak for the board.
How many lots have you bought?
7.
7.
If you want to look up here,
I know where they are.
Yep. So 3 on the north side, and then 4 on the south side of Sunrise Court.
The ones with the numbers on the bill on it, or?
This one right here, the numbers are just where I'm zoomed in. So this one right here, this one right here, we own these 4 over here. My mouse doesn't work. So we own these 4 on this side and these 3 on this side.
The one by Mitch's, up you don't own them?
Who's-
Right next to
who's-
Mitch's, yeah.
This
Oh,
one?
you have that one?
Yep, he owns this lot,
That he owns that.
and then this one is owned by the Delzers. And this one is owned by Artist Plus.
Affected touching the house then. Based on the cost of curb, all of that coming into the land.
There's a couple different ways you can do it. We haven't made a decision on what we're doing with that yet. Right now, this is step 1. of getting the builder to agree that we can move on and find a builder, because that will be part of the negotiations with the builder to say, hey, what would you charge us to put in a road? You know,
Asking, do you want me to sign that, I'm okay with it, but does that mean I'm gonna build?
This is only to take that name off of it. What you're
But that
signing.
But
allows
that's
someone
gonna come to
else
the
to
next
build.
one.
No,
no.
this only is taking their name off of it. What you're signing is only doing that.
Before we
It's
do
not doing
anything
anything else.
there will be a public hearing, and everybody that's affected by that will be invited to that, just like this is.
Mhm.
We'll advertise it, but whatever we decide to do up there, we can't, the board just can't say, you know what, we're gonna do X, Y, Z.
Right.
They gotta have a public hearing, they gotta have, there's a process to get this all done. It's not gonna be, we're gonna show up one day and say, hey,
We'll put the road in.
we're putting a road in.
This is our bargaining chip right here, before you guys, now we sign off on
Not
it.
really a bargaining chip, because if you don't sign, we take it to court, and they're gonna say these people are out of business, and they'll grant it to us.
I think typically, isn't it?
But then it's still gonna come back to us.
Neighborhood developments, like if, I mean, I've seen other ones where I think like Randy White put one in, and my uncle did a development as well. Typically, it's on the developer to put the road in, you know, so if you have these 7 lots and you say hire, you know, John Smith contractor to finish the development, they typically are the ones that pay for the cost of the road, because then it's distributed
To the
amongst the cost of the homes themselves.
Typically, but not always.
Not always, but.
There's tons of ways you could do it. You could do it that way. You could have the developer put it in. But it comes down, there's a couple other things you gotta look at. So do you want a developer who does house putting in a road? Is he used to putting in water, sewer, electrical, gas?
Well, he's more signed as a general contractor, yes.
Right, so, but we have to approve it as a village. So we need our engineers there. So maybe the village pays our engineering group to do the engineering work for the road, water, sewer, gas, because they're already gonna be there to approve it. They'll be on site to do the specs for it. We already have plans for it, because the plans were submitted. When that was put in, we have to resubmit to the DNR and everything else for wastewater, water, storm drainage and things like that. But, so it becomes, what's the least expensive way for the village to do it? And do we do, you know, what do we sell the lots for? Whatever we sell the lots for, we put that money into that. I don't know. There's tons of ways to do it. And I don't want to speculate and tell you that, no, it's all sunshine and rainbows, or no, it's all gloom and doom. I don't know at this point. Neither does the board.
I mean, I would assume the cost of finishing the road, I've never heard of that before, but I would assume you wouldn't finish Sunrise Court around and say, hey, everyone who lives there, you now owe $5,000 for putting the road.
No,
You know, that's, I think, more what the
well,
concern is, not,
well-
the current homeowners would not be
Not-
worried about incurring the expense of the rest of the development.
Like-
You know what I mean? Like, if our homes are already on a paved road, we
Right,
would be obligated to
right,
pay for the completion
right,
of the road.
right.
Or the completion of the sewer and water. That's either on the village to pay the expense or on the developer
Right.
to add it to the cost of the development.
right. So,
So I think that's what their question was, is who is going to pay for that? As long as it's not us, that was obviously a concern as an owner, that it wasn't gonna be people involved in the covenant, we're gonna have to help pay for the finishing of the road expense. I mean, we all indirectly pay for it in our property
Right.
taxes if the village does it, but it's not like it's gonna be a separate bill saying, hey, you live on Sunrise Court, you owe $6,500 per road. Kind of thing.
They can promise that.
Well,
no, I
because
can't.
Walwich's and where Delzers live, they would be finishing, that would be part curb and gutter. So like if where my street would get finished with curb and gutter, I'd pay for that. So their section would have to,
So like in front of Mitch's house, he
So
would have
now
to pay
it'd
for
be
the curb and
yeah,
gutter.
double pay.
right,
All
you, well, not all of it. You would pay for your part of your
The
lot,
part of your property frontage that touches it.
right?
But we are the only ones with property on that
That,
section.
Right.
right, but then the new houses would also be on there. It's not like you would be paying for that whole street to be finished with curb and gutter. It's only your lot. Just like where I would have, if curb and gutter went down North Second Street where I live, well, I would pay for my
That's
curb
how we
and
do it right
gutter
now with any.
in front of
street.
my house.
I paid for it on Dan Chow Street.
Yeah, when they
Yeah.
redid
In
that.
Dancho Street, those people just
Don't worry, they'll
paid,
give you a loan.
And it's not paid for the road, it was just.
it's paying for the infrastructure and curb and gutter.
Curb and gutter.
Curb and gutter, so
Split amongst
Dancho
all
Street
the-
just had assessments this year for last year's work, And they were anywhere from about $2,000 to corner lots. Some of them were
So
about
those would,
9.
so
And a
those
lot
would
of
be
your
the only
lot
two
of
people
things would be
affected by
private.
it.
So you wouldn't be having.
Unless another
Your
person might
driveway's a good chunk of your.
buy the lot,
lot.
the next lot past his.
Right. And you're gonna
Right.
pay for what frontage you have.
Whatever frontage you own, then you
So
pay
you've
for the
got
curb and gutter.
Double lots there, so you're gonna pay for double lots and then on the frontage you got.
Yeah.
There was a couple of them on Ganchuk that had double lots too.
Right, or corner lots.
Or corner lots, you pay for that.
You pay for the.
So
extra
anytime you
corner.
bring curb and gutter into anywhere on the street, you're paying for that. That's that's lot.
But that's how that, and we assess on everyone. We've done it on every street that we've redone.
Right.
We had Second Street, with Park Street, they had
So-
assessment.
Why wasn't this investigated before the city purchased these lots?
What's that?
If they could actually sell them or put in domiciles like this, right? So obviously somebody had to know about this, that his builders is out of business, and now that it was in the, I mean, you guys
Every
are.
development has a covenant.
Were they in business when the village probably purchased them?
No,
No, they haven't been in business.
No, they lived in the 2 houses down there where, Delders and the Walriches lived. They lived in the 2 houses.
Yeah.
They were supposed to finish that road, they never did. The property changed hands from the previous owner to Mr. Tom Zernicke. We want to purchase Northern Lights. He does not want to talk about that until this is finished.
The road is dedicated to the village.
The roadway's already dedicated, the lots are already surveyed out. The plans are already done for water, sewer, and everything else. So that's why we're there.
The village is basically stuck on having to do this before you can go anywhere else.
Right, and it's just not Northern Lights either. He owns a couple other lots, so we want to do some other things throughout the village. This is a start of things, and I think growth is good.
And there'd be more people putting money in the pot. So, and you can't add unless we start here and you work your way up and around wherever else the properties are available. I mean, there's more people moving to the school, wanting to go to the school you already know, there's a winning.
but most of them don't have no interest in moving into town either.
Well, the
So
truth is,
Shawano is in such a heap right now that all those students want to just send it because it's easy to drive here. Nobody wants to move here.
They can't get in.
That's the problem.
They can't get in.
but if you have a residence here, that gives you
Then that
access.
guarantees
Yeah,
you.
that guarantees you access, but they're
Right.
still allowing more people, and if we expand the school, there's still gonna be probably, who's gonna be the ones? Shawano,
We have new
right?
staff that comes in that cannot find a place around here. They have to commute because there's no place to stay.
I mean, it's not even just the public school. I mean, we have St. Paul.
Commuting is a way of life. I commute to Green Bay every
I mean,
day.
we just had that week, that grant we got a call yesterday saying, when you guys can put up houses, because I have a son that wants to go there. So I mean, they're asking already, and we had a call yesterday here at the hall about that, because we had that out on our website and our Facebook.
Oh, about the grant.
So is there a timeline for building this?
I mean-
We have to figure out a builder.
Right. I mean, this is the starting stone of it.
We have to get these other people off the thing. We
And
can't do
then we
anything.
had.
We can't do it unless you guys sign off on it.
And then we haven't started, the next thing on our agenda is looking at approving to get the engineering work started up there.
To see if it's worthwhile for us to do it. So we got our engineer group, that's the next thing on the agenda item, to see if they want us to go get bids to see if it's feasible to put in that road with the water, the sewer, the gas, the electrical, the street lights. It's a short road. I don't know, the construction costs go through the roof on everything.
Oh, right, you gotta be looking at close to $1 million.
No. No, I'd say half that
For everything?
for everything.
For your road, your sewer, your
Yep.
power,
2 years would be probably running.
And we also have the project on 117 that's going to come in at the same time, which we're going to be putting bill on quite a bit of that.
Mhm.
Right.
So there's other projects that need to be done. There's a lot of people that have issues throughout the village. There's only so much you can do with what you have.
Right, well, that's why I was kind of asking about a timeline, because if you're doing that, or you're doing everything you need to do up there.
To have them at the same time rolling together, but we're not.
We don't have no say in 117. The
That's-
DOT's
No, that's
coming in.
state.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
state. They're doing it. We just have to
They
kind of put
tell
the
us
money
what
in
they're
it.
doing, and we just like it.
Yeah. and put money towards it.
Again, you know, if my neighbor's building a shed and I need a little shed built, I'm gonna go to him and say, hey, here's another $5,000.
Yeah.
Here.
That process has already been through letting and the contractor's already been designed. We don't even have, we got plans, but we don't have approved plans. We haven't sent it out for bidding yet to even know what the cost is. We got an idea, and that my idea is around $500,000, but we're too far behind the process to jump on to advanced construction to help us out with that one. It would have been nice, but it all comes down to bidding process because you don't know who's going to come in low too. And we have to put large projects like $500,000 projects out for bid.
So at the moment, you're basically assuming that putting in the road costs, it's just more curb and gutter for who owns the individual lots than the actual road. Like, you know, like the $500,000 you're talking about, that's mostly you paying for that.
I got a plan for that, but it's not approved yet, so
Like,
I
it
don't.
doesn't go on the homeowner, the homeowner is more the curb and gutter.
No, it's not gonna be, was there a total of 11 lots? It's not gonna be 11 lots up there that a $500,000 road goes in and I'm gonna show up and be like, hey, 50,000 per lot, please. That's not, I don't want, that's why I hate giving out, and it's not gonna be 100% cost to the people that live on that road to include the village. It's not like, that whole amount is gonna be absorbed by that. I'm looking into other things to help subsidize the cost with the Affordable Housing Act. I'll say that. So,
They have the government grant.
right, so, and, you know, with water, it also gets involved with DNR, Safe Water Drinking Loan Program, low interest rate loan program, things like that nature. So I don't wanna sit here and, I hate to speculate because, you know, if I sit here and said $50,000, everybody, I would say no. And I don't think that's right to the taxpayers, but I think that,
Because honestly, we don't know a price. We don't
We
know
don't
how
know.
much it. We
and
don't.
I don't know what I'm gonna get,
And so these expenses are in the Everland and Oak Covenant or just on those lots?
just on those lots.
So say like you have a lot that borders the back, like if they wanted to buy a lot so that they could have more of a yard, they would just have to incur the expenses for the new lot they purchased if they wanted to, which would still help to finish the road off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think the village is interested in purchasing lots for somebody to have extra lots, because we want to put a house in.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, what house do you live in?
I live in Sunrise. The L-shaped one, the one more there, right there.
This one?
And I'm looking at actually that lot that's not next to me, it's right there. And then it's right there. Yep.
Yeah, so the village owns that, and, the stance currently is we don't want to sell, we want to build a house
And I don't want to sign.
there. So just take it for it.
It's fine.
Yeah, and if you get to court and use your taxpayer money to fight you at court, so that's,
Well, I knew this was gonna happen in the first place.
well, I mean, that's just goofy, I mean,
Well,
but,
Yeah, but
and
you're
then,
not
like I
giving me
said,
much to go off of, that's the problem, right? I mean, like him, right there, I would be really concerned that he's gonna incur the cost of that curb and gutter.
But I
Well,
wouldn't incur the
I
cost
would-
of the
yeah,
curb
you
and
would
gutter if
incur
I
it.
had it in front of my house.
right,
It's
I mean-
anybody that has curb and gutter that gets put in front of your
I
street.
mean, like
You have to
said, Kay
incur it.
just paid it.
Yeah,
I
Kay
just
just
paid
paid it.
I mean,
Right.
it's for
That's
Dansville
easy to say,
Street.
just, yeah.
No, but no, she
did.
just did.
You just
I
did.
pay it. I get that you're
And you
paying it,
assess
but
it
it's-
over your, on your
Not
taxes.
everybody has a lot of money that just, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna pay this.
No, she had,
Everybody does.
she just had the street redone by
Oh,
her
I know,
house.
they did
Angela
it down the
Street.
street from us, I know how that.
Right,
And they
so,
assess it
Well,
over
did you
5
talk to
years
them
on their
about it?
taxes.
Yeah, they had to pay it,
How much did they have to pay?
quite a bit.
And they assess it over 5 years if they can't come up with
Yeah,
that on their
yes.
taxes, and we allow them to do that.
We're paying for it, that's the thing that I'm,
Everybody's gonna pay for it eventually, because we have to improve our village. You know, I mean,
But yeah, that's what everybody has, I mean.
so when they went down State Street and they put curb and gutter, everybody that lived on State Street paid for
got
it.
an assessment.
my brother's a corner lot, he paid there and then he paid again.
And he
Yeah.
paid again.
I know, I'm gonna pay again when they do it on Elm. I wish they would do Elm. You know, I mean, I wish I had gutter. The water wouldn't come in my yard. You know, I mean, I
Right.
wish I had the infrastructure.
I know my husband would love curb and gutter in
Yeah.
front of our house. Honestly, he would absolutely love it. I mean, the park, I live by Cedar Park. All those people parking and we would have curb and gutter there. He'd love that.
Yeah.
He'd absolutely love that.
So all this aside, so say you change the builder off of there, You know, I mean, then you're still looking at least a year time frame, I'm guessing, before, you know, by the time you have public hearings, by the time you find a contractor, like this is probably, you're looking probably what, 2 to 3 years till there'd actually be a house up, I'm guessing. Or
I would
is
say
it-
quicker than that.
and
I would,
Yeah.
well,
I
I mean, the next part would be probably, the next
Well,
part would
Hope
probably
Springs
be the
is
road.
In the meantime, is Tom still gonna be, farming that land, or now that, are we
It's
letting him
ours.
do it?
So no, we won't have a problem.
Okay.
So we let him farm it this year, after we bought it. I mean, we didn't put a road in, there's no need for us to tell him, hey.
I'm just,
You just pay your rent then.
yeah.
Well, right, he can pay us, I mean, if he's gonna farm, he ain't gonna farm it. We talked to him last year, because we bought it late in the year. We said you can continue to take your crops off of there, but, I mean, I plan on having something done up there, hopefully, within a year.
Hope so.
Oh, yeah, something.
I was saying, by the time you get the road in. That's what
The
we
road
get
is gonna be
yeah.
first. You gotta get a road in there for
Good.
whatever, at least
Good.
something.
Okay, I have a question. I'm understanding that this covenant, the only thing we're changing is item number 2.
Correct.
All the residents dwellings which are constructed within this plat shall be constructed by E.G. Hints and Sons. So I don't understand why we're arguing we don't want to sign it. Because the rest of the covenant is going to stay the way it is.
Correct.
Correct.
They feel it's a bargaining chip that if they don't change that we can't build anything.
Correct.
Because
They don't want us to
E.G.
build.
would have
They
to
don't.
build.
Take it to the next step,
All right.
right? which
That's
is
their
the
bargaining
next step.
chip
I mean,
right
I
now.
have an empty lot up there and I've never been able to
So
build
you-
on it.
Can't build
Because-
anything, you can't sell it, you can't do
Right.
anything right now because you wouldn't be able to build.
That's right. So I'd like to get Hints' name off on there.
But so
Right.
if you wanted to sell it today, or you want to sell it to your child and have them build a house, we tell you, sorry, you can't build.
Because
E.G.
this,
Hints is not in existence, but you can't build.
Right.
'Cause you
So
can't.
today, all we're doing is taking
Right.
his name off. on
so
there.
that would give you access to be able to build something on that open lot.
Or you could just sell it to me.
That would be too convenient.
Yeah, yeah, Leo plays ball on there every day, yeah.
So this would open it up for a neighbor of yours to be able to build something on their open lot. Taking E.G. Hints off of this covenant.
Right.
What if I wanted to move my business onto one of those lots?
It's not a business.
It's not-
Residential.
it's not
Residential,
business.
it's not-
Yeah.
There's lots of lots out there.
So you
So,
could come
yeah.
to
Why
us,
let
I don't wanna go there, I wanna walk across the street.
and you'd have to come
It's
and
not
try
like
to
it
get it
basically means
zoned
that until the
differently.
village wanted those lots were useless for anyone to purchase because you couldn't build on it. It would be like purchasing.
No one could
Mars.
build.
Yeah,
Nobody
like
could
doing-
build that. Nobody could do anything over there.
Except for his,
Right.
And he's
if they
No
came back.
longer,
And he's no longer there.
no longer.
So with her having a personal lot up there, wouldn't she be able to do
No,
the same thing you
No.
guys are gonna do if we don't sign it?
What's that?
Because you still probably can't do
But
it.
she would have to come and she'd have to petition all of you to change this covenant.
Right.
She would have to basically get an attorney, come to the village, ask us to change, or basically get you guys to all sign it to get it changed. So she would have to do legwork, or we would have to do legwork.
So is this thing really, really old? Because I didn't think covenants usually had a specific.
So this is the 93.
393.
We built our home in 94.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And his was a great
He was a
builder.
big builder
He
then.
was
Yeah.
building them all over, and he said that was their security of building all houses all over.
So wouldn't it work the same for any of you to build anything on Sunrise? You won't be able to build anything on your lot.
On both sides.
But if you wanted to do anything else on your lot.
your empty lot. and if you wanna do it.
I add on to my house.
Yeah, if you want to build a garage on that empty lot, because you have 2 lots, right? You can't.
No, no.
Yeah, but Mitch couldn't either, because he's in the covenant.
You can fill out
Mhm.
All residential buildings are clean.
Right.
Unless it's attached.
But-
I'll have a courtyard eventually.
Well, my concern is just that you don't let someone put a double wide up there.
Oh, we don't want
no,
that.
and we
really
don't want
more
that.
duplexes.
That-
We don't want
The
that.
one piece that's still in there is the 1,400 square foot for a
Right.
single family
The
dwelling.
only change is getting the EJ Hints' name off that.
That's all we're
That
asking.
is all we're asking. That's all we're asking.
Because we want to develop, grow our knowledge.
Yes, that's all we're asking.
And you said that Cernicty would be, after this one was finished, he was going to be open to the other area?
Possibly.
Possibly, but not 100%.
Well, he
But
wants
nobody's
to see what
100%.
we're
It'd be
gonna
all for nothing.
do. He wants to see what we're gonna do with this,
Right.
and can't blame him, you know.
And it's not for nothing, it's still more tax base, ultimately, more homes in the village, which we haven't had in 20 years.
how do you go about doing the signatures? Or do we show up here and sign it?
Well, we're gonna send out another letter. We have one that's ready to sign if anyone wants to sign it. We're gonna try to get whoever we can for signatures. If you choose not to sign it, then we will get with our attorney and then they'll proceed with what they need to do. They may just take it to, court and see if they'll grant us.
Right, essentially, what they'll do is they'll just take it to court, and then they'll, since they're no longer in business, it can't be upheld. So rather than going through a drawn-out court process and causing us to spend more money, we're asking to remove E.G. Hens as a sole builder of the lots in Sunrise Court.
I just wondered how you were gathering.
Yeah.
It's not here.
Yeah, so we've had a few of the residents up there call me and say, what do we need to do to sign it? And I said, I'll be sending out another letter asking them to stop in here just to basically sign it. So I told them I'll be sending them another communication, so that's what we'll be doing.
You just want people to stop in here and sign it.
Correct. And then,
If one or two people don't want to sign it,
Then-
then cost court-wise, that goes to everybody, or?
no, cost court, basically the village is gonna pay for the court costs, and it's coming out of your taxpayer dollars. I mean, that's just what it is, It's legal fees for the taxpayers, but, pay it out of your taxes. So then they'll take it to court, and like I said, because E.G. Hens is no longer in business, more than likely the court will say, yeah, we'll just do whatever we gotta do and get it figured out, so.
This would be the easy way, if we could just get.
Right, but I mean, if we get majority of them, I mean, I'm thinking that they're probably just gonna say, yeah, okay. I mean, our attorneys will figure it out, or we say them. But we were just, like I said, we wanted you guys to know what's going on with it. As more things happen up there, we will send you the communications of what's going on and.
Public hearing is very important.
Right, and with any of that, we have public hearings. I mean, any road projects, there's public hearings, bin processing, there's always the public hearings on all that stuff, so.
But everybody's got to be aware that a public hearing is just, a public hearing, the board can still do what they want.
Correct,
But we live in the village too.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean,
right,
mhm.
right. But no, we will definitely keep you guys all in the loop of what's going on, and that's why I sent the letter, so that you guys knew that, we're not just trying to do something, so.
I just have to make one other comment. I was on the board 25 years ago when this water business all went
Yeah.
through, and it was a complete nightmare.
It is.
Oh, I bet.
And everything you said was true, and we were gonna get businesses, they were gonna come flying in.
Right.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
Because we were so close to Green Bay, so close to Apple, businesses were dying to come here.
And
Who came? KI, thank God for KI.
Yeah, and the water is still a nightmare.
Okay, and then another thing with that water bill, if everybody take a look at their water bill, take off your fire protection, which we need.
Right.
Which used to be on our tax bill.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that were tax exempt never paid for it, which was our school, our churches, anything that was nonprofit. Didn't pay for that. They said, let's make everybody pay for it on the water bill. Okay, garbage pickup.
Right, it's on
Part
there
of our
too.
taxes too. Let's put it on the water bill. So now let's take our water bill, minus off your public service
Mm-hmm.
and your garbage. Now look at your water bill.
Yep, break it
And
actually
divide it
down.
by 30 days.
Yep.
It isn't all that bad.
And the thing is, like, I live in a township, I live in Heartland, I get my refuse bill in one shot at the first fee, you get it one shot, so, I guess it's which way you wanna go with it, so.
That's what they had to put in a well. A well is not cheap.
Right.
You dish out 20 grand for a well. And the water stinks so bad you can't stand it.
Or it's really irony.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so, you gotta look at some of that too. Yeah, the water bill's high.
I just look at the good community. I mean, you got to take the good with the bad.
And I think what happened many years ago too, and it was probably, everybody's water bill stayed the same for probably 7 or 8 years. Anybody here, maybe Russ didn't live in town then either.
I've been here 30 years.
That's $33.
Mine
Okay,
used
but
to be-
3 months.
All right, but it stayed $33 every 3 months for probably 7, 8 years. Nobody ever raised it. Oh, isn't it wonderful? Our taxes didn't raise, our water bill didn't raise. What a wonderful place. Then bang, this came up with this millions of dollars that we had to invest. And then everybody went wild. Oh my God, the water bill. Well, It should have been raised for years,
Right.
but that's just the way it was. But the engineers.
So you
came in
completely
and they
understand it.
convinced us.
Yep, you completely understand our predicament. We're in every time we do this.
That's when everybody
So-
started building out on Valley Road there, that, yep, up there.
So thank you. So you understand what we go through.
I put my 4 years in, that was enough.
We can't just raise water rates just on a whim either. It's all highly regulated with,
they're
Public
going
Service
upstairs.
Commission.
Oh.
So they
See,
tell
I
us
didn't
what,
realize
Is
the
that
fire
there?
and stuff was on there. I guess I never looked at it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was on there, because I lived in Shawano, numerous townships.
Church
Village of
usually
Cecil,
needs
and
to
it was always on
invite
property tax though.
Yeah.
Or at least in the city of Shawano it was.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was crap, because my property tax bill was varied so much depending on the township. Village of Cecil was high also. But once you get in the township, you aren't paying for the fire department. If you live in the city, you pay for the fire department. You know, like I lived only a half mile out of Shawano. So when I was in town of Westcott, I didn't pay as much for fire, but I still got the city fire department if there was a fire. But when you live in the city residence, you're the one that pays for it, which is kind of crap when you think about it. You know what I mean? Like,
right, it's a give and
especially
take,
for Shawano,
insurance,
like-
you know, there's all kinds of,
all the townships that use the Shawano Fire
Shawano
Department
area.
should have to pay
Yeah.
for it. But it wasn't on the village tax bill, it's just on the city of Shawano tax bill, which is not very fair.
yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways
I
to,
paid both because I lived in all around it.
multiple ways to do it, and then, I mean, do we put the trash on the tax bill? Do we change it? I mean,
Right.
I'm fine with it like it is now that I know it's not what it is. I didn't really- I never took that good of a look at it, so.
Right.
I just pay
It's a
it.
water bill. It's a water and sewer.
It's a
That's
utility
a
fire.
insurance bill.
Utilities.
No, makes sense. I feel better about it now.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, no, but in my mind, it makes me feel better.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Anybody want to sign?
Yep, that one is right.
Michelle said you said you
Yeah,
had one?
just you and then.
well, you wanna make a motion to approve?
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the amendment and
I don't know
restatement
why
and
it's not.
covenants
This name, it should be.
restrictions for rolling
Yeah,
meadows
why
and
that?
lots.
Second,
I know, and that's when my tax bill comes. For some
Motion by
reason.
Stasic, second by
Kelly,
Kelly, sorry. To approve the amendment and reinstatement of covenants
We'll let you carry
restrictions
on
for
with
Rolling
your-
Meadows.
the rest of your meeting.
Gladness?
So you just sit through all this? I should have done that up here.
What are you here for?
What?
What are you here for?
What am I here for? For the website.
Okay, we got,
No,
Where was that at?
We all want.
is there any discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
have a good
Thank
night,
you. See ya.
See ya.
The village internet, is what you're here for?
No, not that. We're talking about the website. It's not even on here.
Oh, it's gonna go under open forum, but you jumped right into,
Everything
It's all yours for 5 minutes.
okay, does everybody look at the website, village website? Do you look at it from your phone or from a?
Yeah, I put in a request to have that looked at. I did get your email, so I just didn't respond, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
because you can't see the buttons for the, I don't know, you got your phone?
yeah, on the mobile, it's pointy.
Yeah, I can honestly tell you, I haven't had time to look at my phone yet today. So, I've been looking at my
It's been like that
emails.
since you put it on.
oh,
Yeah, it's
I-
like,
I haven't had time to.
the balls are funky, so I've asked him to address that, so.
Also, somebody asked me, because of course I'm here because my son had the old one.
Mhm.
And somebody in the village asked me about that and said, didn't that all start because somebody wanted to donate money to the park? And your website's outdated and blah, blah, blah. So I went to look for that now. Is there a button there to donate to the parks?
Nope,
We
we're
are
currently
working
going through, corp to get approved at this board meeting and then to find ways to incorporate donation links on the website. So we gotta get the outdoor rec plan approved with priorities. So what's gonna happen is there's gonna be a link on there to donate to the Village of Bondwell to Friends of the Park of the Village of Bondwell with specific park projects that you can donate to. And then, yeah, but we don't have our outdoor rec plan approved yet. So we can't put it on there until we get that approved, which is getting approved,
Hopefully tonight.
Yeah, because that had to go through the whole process.
item number 5.
That's not as easy as we think.
No.
So, okay. Also, I just happened to listen to January meeting. And this is just minor, but some of your audio you can't hear because you aren't talking into your microphone. So it's muffled. If Michelle decides she wants to talk to Jay about something and you guys are having a conversation, you can't hear it on, and I tried to listen to it on my laptop, so. I don't know if you could just talk better.
Okay.
Thanks for.
Yeah.
Which one do I go to now?
You can go to.
Leave.
Okay. Yeah, we can go to that.
Which one's that?
Unless
10.
you want to.
You wanna go to 10, or you wanna hang out?
Go
No,
to 10.
go to 10.
Go to 10.
Discussion and possible action to approve liquor license application for the mill.
I don't
Bondwell.
know why you're saying that.
Don't you love our meeting? This is a fun one. Okay, so the mill has applied for a liquor license. They have applied for Class A beer, Class A liquor, Class B beer, and Class B liquor. So they are actually applying for Class A beer and liquor, which is for takeaway to sell. So that would be like Lee's or Quick Trip, so you can buy it and take it away. And Class B combination, which would be like your bars. So they'll be able to serve it there on site and sell it to take away. So this would be our last combination liquor license available before we have a reserve.
Oh.
So after this one, anybody that would want a combination liquor license, basically our Class B liquor license, would have to pay the $10,000 minimum that the state says we have to charge. We can charge whatever we want, but it would be a minimum charge of $10,000 the first time they come and get one. So they would be getting the last one, which I believe belonged to Renegades.
Holy man, Renegade?
Renegades, that was the last one.
Wasn't that that bar over?
Yes. So, yes, that was Renegade's license. So they have applied for that. The background check has come back good. Everything is good.
So the
You
cops
sure
checked,
you did?
the cops checked them out, right?
Yes, they did. It's questionable. But anyway, it's approved. It's all good. They have their sellers and federal ID numbers. So everything is good. And they would be the first one to have all 4 licenses in.
I will make a motion to approve the 4 licenses for the mill.
I'll second it.
Motion by
They're fighting over it.
Stein, the second by
I thought it
Clark,
was gonna be the 2Ks.
to
but-
approve the liquor license application for the mill. Bondwell LLC.
I didn't want to start up right away.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
So Jen does have, I think, the license pretty much ready to go. So whenever you want to come in and pick that up.
Should we do the closed session too?
Yeah, if you guys want to do the closed session, we can do the closed session right away.
I mean, so that way they can move.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll invite you.
Closed session. Move to session to review and discuss the hiring of a full-time police chief position. Pursuant to Wisconsin State Statutes, Chapter 19, General Duties of Public Officials, Subchapter D, 5 exemptions. Considered employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. At the end of closed session, the board will reconvene to open session.
I'll make a motion to move into closed session for approximately 5 minutes, inviting in Keith Fisher, Nicole Fisher, Michelle Marashik, and Jesse Rankin.
Second.
Motion second by Kelly to move into closed session for approximately 5 minutes, inviting Nicole Keith Fisher, Michelle Marashik, and Jesse Rankin. Roll call.
Court,
Yes.
Ottenstein.
Yes.
Kelly.
Aye.
Page.
He's holding my hand.
Stoshik.
Yes.
Zuliger.
Yes.
Game.
Yes. Move into closed session at 7:11 PM. So now we need a motion.
Make a motion to hire Keith Fisher as a new chief of police for the village of Bondwell, effective March 4th.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Kelly, second by Hottenstein,
Sure.
to hire Mr. Keith Fisher for our full-time police chief position on March 4th, 2024. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome to the village.
Diana.
No turning back now.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
We're not laughing.
Not laughing at you, we're laughing.
So now you can go if you want.
Yeah.
You don't
You're
have
good to
for an hour.
We put you
I
to
mean-
enough tonight.
do like hanging out.
No, you don't.
Sure, go ahead. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Jesse.
Oh, did you want those coats?
I guess I can
I
take
don't- Well, I don't know.
I'll just
If you wanted to, I don't know if you want to look at it.
Sure.
So if you can burn them.
Did you need that card? I don't know what that card was.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, like I said, definitely needs a rebid.
Yeah.
Discussion of possible action to approve the engineering for the completion of Sunrise Court.
What this is, I'm just looking for approval, to go to our engineers to put this together and out for bid to see where it comes in at for Sunrise Court.
I'll make a motion to approve, going to the engineers.
I'll second it.
Motion by Hotstein, second by Zuliger, to approve the engineering for the completion of Sunrise Court. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion of possible action to approve termination of TID 1 allocation of 2025 increment for affordable housing.
I can, okay.
Sure.
So, all right, so we have our TID, which is coming, is up this year, and so it's gotta close. What we can do with the TID is we can do affordable housing extension. So normally we'd close it this year, and then next year would be our final payment on it. Normally that payment would get split up between the school and WTC and the county and us. We can do an option called the affordable housing extension. With that housing extension, we would get the money for that last increment in 25 and the rest of it for this year. That is what we want to do. So we've talked to Ellers, we've been in talk with Skeppy, Sean County Economic Progress Incorporated, and we have decided that's the way we want to go with it. So what that will do is give us that money for that last year and this year that we can put towards affordable housing. We can use that pretty much any way we want, as long as it goes towards some, 75%.
75% of it has to be for affordable housing. Affordable housing is defined as 30% of your household income. So a family making approximately $100,000 can afford, what was it, $350,000, $400,000 house, which is the top end of what we're looking at building up there. So we can use up no less than 75%, but
We
just
can use
talking,
all of it.
talking to Ellers, we can use that because we're gonna have to borrow money and then pay for it when we get the increment and everything else. It's a long process, but I'll let Michelle.
So basically, we could take this money and we could use it for Sunrise Court. Put in infrastructure and put in the road. Okay? So this first part that we're looking for is we have talked to Plan Commission about it, and they basically said, yes, let's take it because it's money. We're gonna have met the debt we owed back to sewer and water. That's gonna be paid off, it's paid off, basically, I just made the last payment in January. So we're gonna have that paid off, and we're gonna have money yet this year, and then next year's increment, so there's gonna be money. There's some charts in here that you'll see. What we're looking at is probably about, what, 300 and some dollars?
320,
Like 320 for next year, and about 100 118, I think it was for this year, something like that.
Yeah, 108.
So this year's money basically there's gonna be some costs to do these things. So we're gonna have to have Ellers. Is going to have to drop a lot of paperwork. So there's a lot of legal paperwork to do with this. So a lot of the money this year will be cost to close the TID. There's an audit involved in the TID closure, which we're gonna have to do anyway. But there's gonna be some paperwork that Ellers has to do, which will be the next agenda item. But, so this year, some of the money is gonna have to get reinvested into the closure of the TID, developing a new TID, and getting the stuff ready for it. But next year's money and some of this year's money will be able to go towards that road project. So we're thinking there'll be about 400 almost.
From, for Sunrise Court that we have to pay for, yeah, right, it's gonna be, so water and sewer, total, everything is like 540,
is what we're
estimate.
estimated.
We won't know for sure until we put it out for bid.
Right.
So we're thinking there'll be almost about 400,000 that would be coming from this TID increment that we'd be able to keep. So, this is kind of, this memorandum that's in here is kind of what, Brian at Ellers has proposed, is that there'd be affordable housing extension. We're gonna close the TID, which we'll have to pass a resolution this spring, probably in April. And then we're gonna create a TID, and we're gonna create that by fall. The reason we're gonna create it that quick is there's some regulations that if we don't create it this year, affect us later, so we wanna create it this year. So that's why there's a big push to try to get it done this year. What had happens is there's some payback issues or some things that they can capitalize on 20 years from now. We'll all be out of here by then, but to help the people 20 years from now in the village, we want to create it this year, yeah. If we wait the year, then things get more restrictive for when they want to close it later and use different funding for it. So they're recommending we try to create it right away. So we'll be closing the one and opening up a new one. And so Jesse's working on a lot of that. We're all working on a lot of things right now. So with this, what we're looking for you guys to do is basically make a motion to approve moving forward with closing TID 1 and to allocate the 2025 increment for affordable housing. So, now I'll show you.
It's not as
I have a
confusing
dumb
as you think.
question.
Yeah.
Is the TID gonna be in the same area?
No.
We have to do a new map. I mean, some of it might be, some of it might be in the same, or some of it might.
So the
be-
art of it is to get every vacant lot in the village. Anything that doesn't pay any tax revenue or low tax revenue, we want to put in a TID. But there's only a certain percentage of residential, commercial, and everything else you can put in there. So obviously I want to put Rolling Meadow, not, the Rolling Meadows are 7 lots in there, because we know that something's gonna get built there.
So, yeah,
Because you
that's
can
what
only
I'm
do 12% of your equalized value. Long story short,
It's a lot
is
of numbers.
you get up to that tax revenue that you can put in the TID, and then the idea is that grows, so that way in the 20 years, we were getting, let's say, $320,000 from the TID, all them lots developed, now we're getting $600,000, I'm exaggerating numbers, $600,000, so that way that money we can use for projects. So rather than us always going to the bank to borrow money, we can say, hey, here's $600,000 from the TID this year, let's put in Adam Street. And the way you do that is you put in all the empty lots, and you have to be within a half mile of the TID. So I'm creating a map, so every inch of the village is within the TID. So that way there'll be some downtown businesses that are in there, and it's gonna look like balloons on strings. So you'll go down the road, empty lot, go down the road, empty lot, go down the road, 42 empty lots. And then that way, whenever we start generating revenue from this, and we ain't gonna see this money for another 3 years, 4 years, right? But this is what I meant by Shawano's like 4 or 5 years ahead of us. They're getting money already off that, and that's what they're spending. So we're finally getting our only financial arm we got back to the village, back to us, for us to use. And it's long overdue.
Yeah, I totally agree too. I'll make a motion to approve terminating TID 1 and allocating the money from the 2025 increment for affordable housing.
Motion by Havenstein, second by Stashik, to approve termination of TID 1 and an allocation of 2025 increment for affordable housing. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion of possible action on resolution 2024-01, contracting with Ellers for creation of TID 2.
So this is the TID creation. So Ellers, like I said, there's a lot of red tape for creation. Jesse and I don't have the know-how on that. So Ellers would be the one that will help us through that. They have put together a bid or a proposal, basically an agreement in several phases. As I said, it's not cheap. This would be $17,000, which would come out of that TID money, which right now, this year, we're looking at over $100,000 that we would have to the good. So out of that $100,000, $17,000 would be the starting amount that we're gonna have stuck into creation of a new TID. That new TID, Jesse's working on the map right now. That's the first step of that.
Yep, I got a timeline, I ain't gonna bore you with it, but right now, we gotta do all this work to get it ready for, we gotta create the new TID before October 1st. The new one will close April 16th. So from April 16th to October 1st, the old one will expire, we'll close it April 16th. Has to be after the 15th, and the new one has to be created before October 1st to get it's a year behind, so it'll be the new TID. We'll receive the affordable housing money in 2025 for 2024, and our new TID will start January 1st, 2025. So, but it has to be submitted before October 1st. So that's why that time frame between April and October will be the time frame where people can submit, KI can submit their CSMs, consolidate their lots again, because we had issues with them building and all that other stuff. And that's also going to come into play 1,000-foot level or 100,000-foot level, I'm telling you right now. Them lots over here that are empty, that are owned by multiple people, and I'll just use the Walriches. They own the house and they own an empty lot. So the smart money would be to put their empty lot in the TID and not their house. So they'll never be able to combine them two lots if we do that. So I'm just precursoring everything when it comes to time. It's just not picking empty lot. You're looking at the second and third order effect of putting that lot in the TID versus the one next to it. Right.
There's
I got
a
way
lot
off
going on. But yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot. So, and the other thing is that with all of this stuff going on, we started, if you guys got Jesse's invite for the stand-up meetings, the weekly stand-up meetings.
Yeah, it got added to my calendar.
Okay, well, that
What?
is because there is a ton of projects going on right now, because Jesse keeps dreaming up things. No, no, because we keep getting involved in all these different things, and like now this is affecting, we need money to cover this, so we're gonna get this TID from the allocation but we need to still, if we put this infrastructure in, we're gonna have to pay for it up front. So we're gonna take out a general obligation loan for 117, so we're gonna take out money for this too. So we met with Ellers this week, and we're trying to figure out all the financing, so that's gonna be coming forward too. So we're gonna be doing a general obligation note this year, we're gonna be doing closures, we're gonna be doing a lot of different things. So Russ came to our meeting yesterday and seeing how many wonderful things we have going on. Jen and I and Jesse had a meeting, last week we started it, I thought of it like Monday morning, we needed to do something. So then Jesse kind of got it going. When Keith gets on, we're gonna start including him because, Jesse's gonna be working with Jen to make sure we have detour signs made when that all starts, and that we're getting, the right communications on the website, Facebook, have the signage out there to detour, we're trying to be
The
proactive.
DOT don't do all the detour and all that stuff?
The official detour is gonna take you to Shawano, to IHOP.
But we
to
wanna make sure
22.
the businesses,
But
people can
we-
get to the business.
Businesses.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the DOT
You know,
might
that kind
bitch
of
about
stuff.
it a little bit, but I mean, we gotta have some
They're-
way for people
They're
to
gonna
know.
take you to state highways.
Yeah.
Right, but we're gonna help you get to 117 or Whitford or wherever you need to get in town.
Right.
We wanna make sure people can get around in the town or get to the high school or get to the village park or wherever they need to go.
Because there's still gonna be baseball games going on or softball games.
We're trying to make sure all these projects get the attention they get, so, but with this one now, for this, agenda item, basically, we're looking for you guys to approve this resolution to contract with Ellers to move forward in this creation of TID.
Well,
We have
Make
to
the
introduce
motion.
this.
I'll make the motion to introduce resolution 2024-01.
I'll second it.
Kelly introduced resolution 2024-01. Einstein second. Possible action resolution 2024 contacting with Ellers for creation of TID 2. Is there any discussion? Roll call?
Court,
Yes.
Ottenstein,
Yes.
Kelly,
Aye.
Stashik, Zuliger,
Yes.
Gaines.
Yes. Motion passed. Discussion of possible action on resolution 24-02, adopting the village comprehensive outdoor recreation plan.
Yes.
What this is you got a copy of the comprehensive of the rec plan that lists out, our objectives, what we want to do, it lists out, projects by cost. The plan commission put a priority list on each part on what they would like to see done. I guess, what are your questions about it? The next step after this is, once this is approved, we're not approving this at this meeting, but look at a master plan. So that way, if we have funds and end up vacating that portion of Park Street that's not really a road, what are we gonna put there? We just don't wanna remove it. We wanna remove it and put something there. Is that playground equipment? Is that bandstand? So that would be the next step. In addition to that, once this is approved, I also have the Fox Valley Regional, Socorro? Fox Valley Region Community Development, which did the pavilion up at Village Park. They've been hounding me for a year now, hey, let us help you do a project. So they know we're approving it tonight, hopefully, and then they are gonna help us find funds for it. And then also MSA did a great job in Shawano, finding them all funds for their playground equipment. That's who did it. So once we get this, Ken from Cedar Corp, MSA, and other entities, we're gonna look at getting grants to get some playground equipment moved.
Did we get the lights all covered up?
No, we put money in the budget for them, and we're
Short a little bit.
short. So that's one of our projects too on our list of things that was on our stand-up weekly meeting is, Jesse's got Rodney's gonna start looking, and we're gonna actually have a meeting with like the clubs to see if we can get some assistance from them to apply for some grants, because we think they might have a better chance of getting it because they actually work with the people that are coming to the things or that are paying to be in them. So we were gonna set up a meeting with the clubs. We applied for the one grant, but I don't think we got it because we don't have the funds coming in and we don't have the participants. So we're gonna see if maybe we could get them or help them apply for it, and apply for some of these other grants. So we're working on maybe getting the difference.
I'm trying to get the Broncos, the Legion, the Bat and Ball Club, the high school, to come and sit down and say, hey, look, we don't generate any revenue we don't lease you the ballpark, we don't charge admission, we don't run the concession stand, we don't do any of that. So when we apply for a grant, it looks like we're asking for money, but we let everybody use the field and we don't charge nobody nothing. So we have no revenue from it, all we have is expenses, and I think that's why we're getting denied for it. So, and, we can shape it however we want, you guys apply for it, the village will provide the 50-50 match. You guys just apply for it and be the entity that gets the grant, not us. And
So yeah,
we'd still be ahead.
we're gonna try to get a meeting with them.
So we're trying to corral all the people, but it's kind of difficult.
I will make a motion to propose resolution 2024-02, adopting the village board comprehensive outdoor rec plan 2024.
I'll second it.
Motion by Einstein, second by Court. To introduce resolution 2024-02, adopting the village comprehensive outdoor recreation plan. Is there any discussion? Roll call?
Court,
Yes.
Ottenstein,
Yes.
Kelly,
Aye.
Stashik, Zuliger,
Yes.
Gaines.
Yes, resolution passed. Discussion of possible action on resolution 2024-03, approving CSM for portion of East Expressway located in the town of Heartland.
This is a CSM that, we had done to dedicate, the little portion of expressway that is in the town of Heartland. The town of Heartland actually approved the dedication last night at their meeting. I did call Dale and April Van Gain yesterday. They did not run it past their attorney, but I talked to them both on the phone yesterday, and they said that once the board approved it and the town of Heartland approved it, I am supposed to call Dale and he will come and sign.
So this is the south side of East Expressway by Jefferson Street, that's it? Just right
It's
there?
that end part, basically, he had gave us a permanent easement on it years ago. And that's what it was. Jesse found it in the Whistler program that it was never a dedicated roadway. So it is in the town of Heartland. It is our infrastructure, our road, but it is in the town of Heartland. Ideally, we would like to get it annexed into the village, that piece of roadway, but Dale has said he will not annex it unless that whole 40 is annexed. And
So that whole
is not
corner
gonna-
lot?
That whole lot one,
Yeah,
he wants that whole thing annexed into the village, but not until someone buys it. So if someone has about $3 million, you could have it annexed.
Sit there a while.
So at this point, it's going to probably stay in the village or in the town of Heartland, but at least it's a dedicated roadway and not just a permanent easement.
Right.
Dale's biggest concern was that in 10 years, if let's say the infrastructure and it goes to hell or the road needs to be replaced, it's not gonna be his responsibility. And I said, no, it will be ours. It's our infrastructure, our road. And that was what the agreement was with the permanent easement, that it was all ours. And I said, yes, that would be the case. And so he never did run it past his attorney, but he told me yesterday, as soon as we get the approval, give him a call, they'll both come down and he'll give me the signature and let me know.
I'll make the motion to introduce resolution 2023-04.
I'll second it.
Oh.
I
Got it.
didn't hear it happen. no.
Okay, so it was introduced by Kelly, second by Court, to dedicate the portion of East Expressway into the town of Heartland.
Motion was made by Kelly,
Yep.
second by Court, to introduce resolution
Yep.
2024-3.
Yes. No, it should be 2024. 04,
04?
03. Michelle's never done this right.
2023-04.
So, okay.
Yeah. 2403.
Approving resolution 2024-03,
Mhm,
CSM for portion of East Expressway located in the town of Heartland.
correct.
Roll call?
Court,
Yes.
Ottenstein,
Yes.
Kelly,
Aye.
Stashik,
Yes.
Zuliger,
Yes.
Gaines.
Yes.
Resolution passed.
I was confused as to where it was.
Discussion and possible action to approve signage application for 110 East Green Bay Street.
You got it.
Suite A, Captain's Axe and Arcade LLC.
The sign permit was put in. You got a copy of the sign. It meets the sign requirement. It could be up to 300 square foot. He's looking at approximately 27 square foot. It's not of any derogatory meaning. Meets all the requirements.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the signage for Captain's Axe and Arcade.
I'll second it.
Motion by Court, second by Zuliger. 10 East Green Bay Street, Suite A, Captain's Arcade LLC. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion of possible action to approve signage application for 101 East Green Bay Street, Allen Braunfreider Carpentry.
You've probably seen the sign up. Again, this meets the requirement. You can have a total of 600 600 square feet of signage, so the building as a whole still is within the limits of the signage. There's no derogatory signage drawings on it, so it meets all the requirements for the signage in the district.
All right,
I'll make a motion to approve the signage for 101 East Green Bay Street, Allen, for Traeger Carpenter.
I'll second.
Motion by Haunstein, second by Kelly, to approve signage application for 101 East Green Bay Street, Allen, Run Traver, Carpentry. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Discussion and possible action to repeal and replace ordinance section 22-21, sexual offender residency restrictions.
This came from the cow. Basically, the only change that was made was we removed, item 3D. Under exceptions was the one that allowed the offender to live with family, or to reside with family. We removed that, took that out.
I'll make a motion to approve,
Introduce.
introduce resolution 2024-01 ordinance
Ordinance, yep.
for the sex offender registry restrictions.
I'll second it.
Yep. 2024.
Motion by Court, second by Luger.
Yep.
To approve the action to repeal and replace ordinance 2024-01.
Sure.
Sexual offender residency restrictions. Any discussion? Roll call.
Court,
Yes.
Ottenstein? Yes. Kelly?
Yep.
Stashik?
Yes.
Billiard?
Yes.
Me.
Yes. Ordinance passed. Oh. Unfinished business. Discussion of possible action on appointments to boards, commissions, and committees.
Nothing new?
I have one that's possibly interested in plan commission.
Okay,
We'll have to do a little more talking, so that's all I
Okay.
got so far.
so move it to next one.
Yes, that'd
Okay.
be great.
By consensus.
By
Okay.
consensus.
By consensus.
Got it.
Discussion of possible action on village internet and telephone provider.
I'm not going through our attorney anymore because it's costing us more money and that's what they're banking on. So I'm just having conversations with them through email and their attorney. I asked them to put in their required items according to the lease. They say that it is under their impression that the village asked them to remove them. I told them it is under my impression that Bertram asked to remove them. So I would like the server and everything set up in my office no less than 30 days from today, or I will remove your antennas from the water tower. That's where we're at.
And that was
You
today.
didn't get us a response?
That was today.
That was the,
So by consensus, you want to move it to
yeah,
30
we
days
can move it
from
by
now?
next week, next time.
We gotta approve a harness already?
Huh?
Did we gotta approve a harness?
No.
No, we got that already.
Okay, we'll move it by consensus.
Yes.
Okay.
Approval of payments, Michelle Marashi.
Okay, payments are in there. You will notice that there's a couple larger ones, we had to pay a couple of the
Yeah, there's
bonds
3 of us.
this time. So bond service, bond trust service, you'll see a couple large payments that are going out this month. You'll also notice in the fire department, there's a lot of, information in there about the bowling tournament and their expenses for that, so.
Beeping at you.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented. I'll second it.
Motion by Stashik, second by Haunstein, to approve the payments as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Treasurer's report, Michelle Marashi.
You'll see on the January treasurer's report, I've added the 2024 distribution for taxes. You'll also notice, 525 account for Bondwell Area Parks cash. So that is the new account, the new fund account for the donations. If you guys got your, comparison sheets that I put in your baskets, you'll notice there is a new sheet in there for 525. In there, it will show that we set up an account, for all of the park donations. So we have in there an interest account, there's Cedar Park Dog Park, donations, so the money that we got from the Friends of the Bondwell Park, Dog Park, we did put that in there. That money will be allocated for larger projects that the dog park would need. There was also one there for Cedar Park playground donations. That was money that we received from 117 golf outing, I think it was, a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago. And then there was money we had gotten from a grant from the League of Municipalities Insurance. So that money I moved into those funds. So this is the new park fund. So once we get our donation stuff set up, this is where that money will be going. So we did set up that special revenue fund for that. So we just have basic line items now, but as we get it more developed, we'll set up more accounts. I just wanted to point that out to you guys, that is on there now. The other thing you'll notice on the treasurer's report is you'll see a water meter replacement reserve. That is what we're putting away on the side for the water meter replacement. We always put $20,000 away a year. Doesn't really show up on the reports, so I'm putting it on there so that we remember we have that money allocated. I talked to the auditors and they said that would be the best way to do it so that we know it's there. So we don't think we have more money in that fund than we do. So.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll second it.
Motion by Kelly, second by Court to approve the treasurer's report. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Announcements.
Call meeting on the 28th. February. Jesse will be gone for that one. And then Plan Commission, March 11th, right?
11th.
March 11th. We will have a CSM to review there, I believe.
That's all we got so far.
That's all we have. Fire Commission is not meeting this month. They're meeting March, whatever that third Thursday is.
Plan committee at 6.
So are we gonna have any, I don't know what they're called, meetings or whatever for this thing that we have today?
Like, public hearings?
Yeah, that's.
Okay, so right now, that's gonna go out for bid, or he's gonna work with the engineers. Once we get it where it's ready for bid, I guess we'll figure that out. Right now, what I'm going to do is I will be sending out a letter to everybody saying that it was approved at the board. And if they could come in and sign, so we'll see how many signatures we get. If I'll put a deadline on it, and then if I don't hear from certain ones, I will call them and see if they're gonna sign it. Some of them I know aren't gonna sign it, and then I guess we'll have to talk to Rich Carlson and see, hey, I wanna say Rich Carlson. But see if, what we do with it from there. Because
Both people in that household have to sign it? Or just one?
I think it's.
The lawyer recommended we get all signatures.
It'll
And
probably
I
be
guess
better
my
that
next
way.
question is,
I mean, I don't know if you have to get all, or if it's a percentage. I don't know what legality.
he said all of it to remove that. Says normally you need all of them. Like if you were just changing something else, but to remove it, you need all signatures. And I didn't anticipate, I thought maybe 2 would be a problem, but it sounds like there's gonna be more than 2. I would guess.
I mean, I
because-
guess see with sending out the letter, maybe with having the meeting, it changed something. I don't know,
Right.
but and kind of go from there. And I guess keep us in the loop.
Yeah,
With it-
so, like I said, we'll get that letter drafted tomorrow, and we will send it out, and we'll probably give a deadline of, like a week or something, to come on in and try to get it signed. I mean, there's a couple up there, like, like, Councilman, she's older, I don't know if she's, capable, I don't really know.
Put an option in there to have somebody bring it to them.
Is she to get around? I mean, I don't know, so, would she come in here? I guess, or give us a call if you need, come through you, I guess, but yeah, we'll get the letters out, see what we have come in to sign. And then, like I said, if it's a week out or a couple weeks and a half out and we haven't heard, then I guess for some of them, I won't have a problem calling. Some of these I wouldn't call. Then just know that they're probably not. And then I guess we'll, like I said, take it up with the lawyer and figure out where we go from here.
Right.
And then, like I said, when we get to the road projects, we will just make sure we communicate everything to them and
Right, and I mean,
make sure we do everything by the book. And I mean, I don't think we're doing anything wrong. I mean, it's no different than any other, in Green Bay, they're just gonna come in and do what they want, I mean.
If they wanted that other lot, why didn't they ask Tom Zernicke about it? Now that we bought it, now everybody wants to buy it. I said, no, we want to build houses.
And it's not even the one directly behind them.
Right.
No,
And he won't even get assessed anything because we're not doing anything to his property.
no.
So it would just be our 7 lots, and I don't know.
Yeah, he has nothing right behind him. He's got, the other guy owns a lot behind him, so he has nobody behind him.
yeah, I don't know.
So,
I did like it that Rosemary brought it up about that she can't build on her lot.
yeah,
I never even thought of that, but she made a good point. So it does open it up for them to be able to build on their, if they have additional lots.
Like the Dowsers and the other guys, they could do something on those
Walrus,
lots as long as
yeah.
it falls within the restrictions. 'cause-
The restrictions, especially when they own the double lots,
Right.
so
That would have been,
it's an option.
an eye opener if they'd have went to do that and then realized they couldn't.
They couldn't. Right. But no one has tried that, I guess. Well,
Right.
maybe Rosemary has.
I don't know.
I don't know if they have. But
What's your definition of residential buildings too? Does that include an extension? Does that
I mean,
include
does
a
that
garage?
include a remodel?
Does that include a garage?
right.
Well, if it's attached to the initial dwelling, but it does, you're crossing 2 lot lines on that.
What about Mr. Gobratz that built a garage, a separated garage up there?
Yeah.
And I'm not shaking his tree down, that's not what I'm getting at. I mean, what define residential dwelling? To me, a garage isn't a residential dwelling.
No, but
if
say you
add
put a
on
living
a
quarters up
bathroom
there.
and living quarters, that's a residential. So that, I have a couple questions for the lawyer to see if, the people that don't wanna sign, if we can.
Well, like I said,
I mean, go from there and keep us in the loop.
Yep.
I'll
Sounds
make a
good.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Kelly, second by Stasha to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to adjourn. 8:02.